thanks so much for 1,000 subscribers. It really means a lot. I mean, actually, we're already at 1.3 thousand. It's a bit late, but whatever. Here is my 1,000 subscriber special, where I rank all of my Lego bays. Set 1, Set 2, Set 3, and Set 4. It's gonna be with their stock combos, and we're gonna measure their attack, defense, stamina, and tier from S all the way to F, and see which ones are going to be the best. First up is Lego Valkyrie, and if you know anything about my channel, you should know that this is the attacking beast. It can get, like, knockouts and bursts all day long. The layer is really heavy, has these really sharp contact points, as you can see, like, it's already wear down. And a really fast tip that also doesn't have a lot of stamina. So, even though this rating scale is out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this 11 attack, 1 defense, and 0 stamina. Overall, it's a really risky bay to use, since you've got to get that first attack early or else you're going to lose, but it can win against pretty much any opponent since it has really good attack, so I'm going to give it a C tier. Next, we have Lego Achilles Dash, which has, a pretty good attacking layer, got an okay weight, but then, of course, has a really good driver. This bay can land a lot of good attacks due to its shape and the stamina from this driver, but really the only bad thing is that it's a bit light from this weight, so it can get easily knocked out of the stadium. That said, it's still an amazing bay with 6.5 attack, 2.5 defense since it's pretty light, and 5 stamina. And I'm giving it an A tier for being really solid all around. Next up is Ragnaruk, which even after an upgrade still sucks. So originally the Ragnarok was bad because it didn't have good stamina for a stamina type. It had the worst stamina ever and nothing else to show. This plus driver is okay. The hat driver was really bad, even though it doesn't seem like it would be that bad. It still has pretty terrible stamina and just not very good overall. Pretty lightweight. This is going to be an F with 3 attack, 3 defense, and 4.5 stamina. After that, we have Lego Satan, which is a really solid bay, and even though it may seem like perfectly circular, these 2 rollers on the side actually protrude farther out than the rest of the bay, making it not as OP. So the driver is actually really good with this thin bar, giving it a lot of stamina, and also this plate around, giving it life after death. However, it's a bit lightweight, meaning that its defense isn't the best, so I'm going to give it 0 attack, 7 defense, 6 stamina, and since it's so solid, an A tier. Moving on to set 2, we have Lego Deathsyther. So at this point in time, I actually started uploading more than once a month on my channel, and it actually started to get some traction, which is pretty nice. So Deathsyther here, overall, it's an attack type, but this driver gives it pretty good stamina since it's just a plastic circle, and the layer actually has decent stamina also, but not that much attack. So I'm going to give it 5 attack, 3 defense, and 4 stamina, but even though those stats seem pretty good, it's just, I don't know, in practicality, it doesn't seem to perform that well, so I'm going to give it, like, high C tier. Next, we have Lego Wyvern, which kind of suffers the same case as Lego Deathsyther in not matching the type of bay it's supposed to be. So even though this is supposed to be a defense type, it actually has a lot of attack from these kind of 2 larger sides. And the driver is really good. This is probably S tier. It's got a ball and a free spinning ring, so kind of like Atomic. The layer is really heavy, but has a lot of recoil and actually not that much stamina. So I'm going to give it 5 attack, 5.5 defense, 3 stamina, and an A tier rank. Running out of transition words to say, we have Lego Kerbeus, which this is actually a new design I'm currently working on right now. Kerbeus is kind of similar to Wyvern in that it's a defense type, but also has a lot of recoil. The Kerbeus layer is okay, but what makes it, pretty good is that it has weight in the center here. This ring weight is also really solid, and the driver is just a solid driver. Overall, solid combo. I'm going to give it 4.5 attack, 5 defense, and 3 stamina, for a B tier. Then we have Lego Spriggan Dash, which is probably one of my favorite designs on this channel. So it has rubber, it's metal, it's dual spin, and the design is just, these brackets from all angles, and the shape is just cool. Of course, coolness doesn't mean good. Its Unite driver is okay, but it's of course not the best, not that good life after death. The weight is pretty good, pretty heavy. So overall, the layer is kind of like a Spriggan. It's like all around good and solid. I'm going to give it 3 attack, 5 defense, 5 stamina, and A tier due to its versatility. And now we have a combination of the banana, the blue banana. It's our big boy, Lego Garuda-Knight. So in this layer, you can see there's some gaps here, but all that weight is shifted to the outside, and it's really big, giving it, good, being big is better. The weight is fine, and the driver's really sharp, giving it more stamina, but the problem is that it's not too stable and scrapes a lot. So, any, major hits can make it lose a lot of that stamina. So I'm going to have to give this 1 attack, 2 defense since it gets knocked to scraping easily, and 7 stamina with a B tier. Moving on to set 3, we have Lego Dragon. So here, the layer is pretty heavy, and it has some decent attack. It's got also a heavy driver. It's fine attack driver, good frame, and yeah, it's just an overall solid attack type. So I'm going to give it 6 attack, 3 defense, and 2 stamina, and a B tier. After that, we have Lego Genesis, which just to me doesn't really feel that stable. It's like, it feels hollow on the outside, like it's too big. That said, it's not really an F tier, I don't think. But it's pretty bad. I mean, this driver is okay. The grab driver just was not good. It did not have good stamina. The weight is fine. I mean, it's just your regular disc. And the layer is big, but that's all it's got going. So I'm going to have to give it 4 attack, because it actually has a lot of recoil, 6.5 defense, and 1 stamina, and a D tier. Then we have Lego Hades, which I feel like is a bit underrated. It's kind of like Lego Valkyrie with really good attack, but not that good stamina or defense, but a bit better since it has a normal stud driver with a small ring around it. Like seriously, it can get some large recoil. So I'm going to have to give it 7.5 attack, 3 defense, and 1 stamina, because honestly this frame scrapes a lot. And C tier, but high C tier. Moving on to Hyde's brother Phi, we have Lego Phoenix. And this gimmick works pretty well, but okay, that's not the point of the video. When it comes off, like the ring kind of absorbs hits by bending a little, but the problem with that is while it might give more defense, it just kills the stamina. I don't think the weight is that bad. It might be a little low, but what really makes this combo terrible is the driver. It's just not, it might have okay stamina, but it's not stable. Overall, not very good. I'm gonna give it 2 attack, 6 defense, and 4 stamina, but it's in F tier. Then we have Lego Fafnir, which, I mean, its whole winning strategy is basically revolves around its life after death and spin steal. So, of course, when the spin's left, right spin bays will give it spin, and this driver has probably the best life after death there is with this larger ring so low around it, and the spring driver is nice. The only problem is that it's not very heavy, and actually doesn't do that well against other left spins. So it can win almost every matchup against right spins, but it's not that good against left spins. I mean, this could be an S, but I think I'm going to have to give it an A, with 0 attack, 4 defense, and 7 stamina. And then we have the White Tyrant Louis with Lego Longinus. This is a pretty amazing bay. I mean, it's got extra metal on the layer, it's got really good attack, pretty good driver with some free spin, which helps since it's left spin, and also some good attack. Overall, probably the most solid attack type. it's just really good. It has 9 attack, 2 defense, 2 stamina, and this is gonna be our first S tier. And then we have Lego Bahamut, which is really solid, has a central weight, and has really good stamina. The only problem, I guess, well, I mean, there's a couple, is that there's only a 1 stud connection from the layer to the driver, which means that it can burst easily, and also since it's left spin, it's just, with this combo, it just doesn't have very good life after death, so it doesn't help that it's left spin. Other than that, it's really solid, really circular shape, so I'm going to give it 1 attack, 7.5 defense, 4.5 stamina, and just a C tier, because it can't win many matchups against right spins. Now we're moving on to set 4, the most recent set with Lego Hyperion. So, I mean, even though there's sharp blades here, as it seems, and it seems like there's a lot of metal on the outside, for some reason, it just doesn't have very good attack. I think it might have, like, the Hyperion burn problem, where it's just not enough actual hit points are on the outside. So, the driver is not that good. I mean, probably a plastic regular driver would be better. But overall, it just suffers from not having that much attack for an attack type. So, I'm going to give it 5.5 attack, 3.5 defense, and 1 stamina. Just not good in D tier. Next, we have Hikaru's brother, Hyuga, with Lego Helios. And this is more solid and probably better than Hyperion. So with the layer, we got this 5-bladed shape, and it's just solid. A lot less recoil, but a lot more stamina. And the driver is pretty normal. It's really calm, normal, a bit of movement. It's got okay life after death for a left spin, but overall, it's pretty solid, so I'm going to give it 3 attack, 5 defense, and 4 stamina with a B tier rating. After that is the antagonist of the series with Lego Lucifer. So obviously with this barrier gimmick, it's going to have 10 defense, because what else am I going to give 10 defense to? It also has quite a bit of weight and a sharp shape besides for the barrier, meaning that it can actually get a good amount of knockouts. The driver is really good, being the free spin version of Drive, and it has okay life after death with this. But really it suffers from not having much stamina, but it can be a good choice to counter attack types like Valkyrie that still have less stamina, I guess. So yeah, and also against left spins, it's pretty good. So I'm gonna give it 3 attack, 9 defense, and 0 stamina. D tier cause it can win some special types of matchups. Still running out of transitions to say, we have Lego Xcalibur. So there's a decent amount of metal in the layer, in the center and also on the outsides, but it's a rather small layer, so it still has fine attack. This frame and weight kind of scrapes a lot, and this driver is just a normal driver, so nothing too special there. So Xcalibur is going to have 8 attack, 2 defense, and 1 stamina with being a D tier. And then we have this guy, who combo-wise and performance-wise is quite similar to Bushin Ashura. So the layer here is pretty small, even though it has these 4 weights to help. It's just small. A lot of the weight is concentrated in the center with the plastic. This free spin thing doesn't really help, but it just limits the amount of weight and metal on. And really, this rubber driver, okay defense, but just doesn't give it any stamina at all. So it's like Lego Lucifer kind of. This is probably going to be like the lowest rating ever, but I'm going to give it 1 attack, 7 defense, and okay, make that 8 defense, and 0 stamina, being an F tier because it just has no stamina whatsoever. Following that, we have our first Power Core driver bait, which is Lego Apocalypse and Reboot. So the layer Lego Apocalypse has really good recoil. I mean, this got this one really main point here, and kind of an oval shape that's a bit wider than usual. And then Reboot is pretty good because, I mean, this metal ring is solid, it works on a lot of bays, and combined with this great attack, it's just a great bay. I mean, it has, like, 9 attack, 1 defense, and 3 stamina. I'm not sure, should I give it A tier? We'll give this S tier, but probably below Longinus, because it's just overall great. Another power core bay, Lego Diabolos. So the shape here on the layer, pretty good, has a great balance of attack, defense, and stamina, and of course you got the generate driver, which is the inverse of reboot, and I'd say they are pretty much the same in performance. I guess maybe the generate driver might have an advantage since it actually attacks, but I guess that could depend on the layer. Overall, this is comparable to Apocalypse, pretty solid, and I'm going to give it 4 attack, 4 defense, and 4 stamina. Wow, really balanced, with an S tier rating, I guess, because, I mean, it is pretty good. Finally, the final bay of set 4 is Lego Zeus, and overall, it's just really good stamina, I guess. It has the metal balls, pretty heavy, thick layer, metal ball driver, but what really ruins it kind of is the frame, which scrapes a lot. So it kind of bursts semi-frequently, and it has pretty good defense and such. It's just good solid bay. So I'm gonna say half attack since it's really round, 5 defense, and 7 stamina, giving it B tier, because it kind of loses to left spins and some right spins. Alright, so here I've grouped the bays into their tiers. So now I'm going to kind of order them within their tiers, basically creating an overall ranking for the bays. So let's start off in S. I do think Lego Longinus is the best. Not sure about Apocalypse and Diabolos, because on one hand, Diabolos feels like it should be better overall, but for some reason, I just feel like Apocalypse performs better. Maybe it's because Diabolos bursts a lot or something. But I don't know. I'm going to keep it like the order that it is. Moving on to A. I think that Fafnir should be first in A because there's so many right spins and it always wins against right spins. I think Achilles should be second because it is really solid. I'm going to have to put Spriggan next because it's Spriggan. You should know what that means. And yeah, this looks fine. So then, moving on to B. Kerbeus, I don't think is that good, so let's say Garuda-Knight. I don't know, I think Dragon might be better. Oh, this is tough. Zeus is also good too. So Zeus and Dragon are both solid. Actually, I think I'm gonna put Zeus ahead. Just because it doesn't scrape as much as Garuda-Knight. And then to the C tiers. Valkyrie. Ooh, Valkyrie's hard. Valkyrie's a wild card. I think Bahamut is really solid. I'm gonna put it in the first for C tier. Oh, this is solid. These are more solid attack types. This is crazier, but it can win a lot more. It has the potential. I think I'm gonna keep it like it is. And then for the D tier, I feel like Genesis is probably the worst one. Actually no, Lucifer's the worst one because it has that barrier that just drains all of its stamina, just wins in a few certain scenarios. And I think Xcalibur is better than Hyperion, so we're gonna go like this. And then finally, F tier, no questions asked. Ragnaruk is last. I think Phoenix is better than Ashura because it just has more stamina, meaning that it could possibly win more often. So yeah, that was my ranking of all my Lego bays. And just tell me what you think. I mean, did you think I ranked them right? Like, what do you think should be higher? What do you think should be lower? What did I miss? Anything? And I'll see you next time. Thanks again for 1,000 subscribers. Lego bays out.